Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Today I'm going to be discussing the timing on the meme coin cycle top for cryptocurrency here within this cycle. And now you've got a bunch of people, a lot of the influencers coming out and saying, well, it's going to be extended, it's going to be delayed. Because if you had asked a lot of these people 5 or 6 months ago, me included, in mid-October, how far along will Bitcoin be if the thesis is Bitcoin to 160, 170, 180, we would think it'd be a lot further along than 122,000, which is where it's trading today. So the idea is, well, maybe it's extended. You can't really predict the exact perfect timing, although there are certain indicators that have been accurate in the past. However, because of the institutional adoption, it is a little bit different. You take a look at the altcoin season index, we are sitting at 63. So the scale is tipping a little bit further to alt season. The ideal thesis is it might tip a little bit back. If we really want Bitcoin to go to 160, 170, 180, or 200, we're probably going to see it tip a little bit back into the 50s, maybe even the upper 40s. It has gone on a little bit of a downtrend within the past, I would say, month. It was at around 65. Now it's at 63. Or I guess maybe it was higher than that. No, it was like around 75, 80. It's back down to around 63. Certainly, we would hope, as you can see, and I knew this was real. Like the last November, December, I mean, people are really upset. They're saying, why aren't my meme coins doing anything? They're not moving. I mean, some of the higher caps have started to run a little bit. We've seen MOG and SPX wake up. Those ones would certainly run before we saw the ultra super micro caps go, but we're just not there yet. And the projection would hinge on Bitcoin. It would hinge on money flow into Ethereum, hopefully Ethereum going to around 10K. That would create the ingredients for a beautiful situation for a lot of us on, if you have Ethereum meme coin. So I would say right now it's at 63. It wouldn't surprise me if it went down a little bit more. In terms of the exact timing, it's impossible to say. I mean, I've seen a lot of different things. People are trying to talk themselves into potential extended cycle. This is the ISM correlation to Bitcoin, the Institute for Supply Management, aka the business cycle. And you can see its relationship with Bitcoin, and the top right now, it is still down. It's been suppressed seemingly for about 2.5 years. And the idea is, well, maybe because of the correlation in late 2017 and mid 2021, you go back to 2014. I don't know. It's like apples to oranges comparison. You could say, well, fundamentally, Bitcoin's the same as it was in 2013, 2014. But going back that far, in terms of where we're at right now with how money flow is into cryptocurrency, it seems hard to really compare 2013, 2014 era to where we're at and project where this is going. I mean, this has also had a significantly longer downtrend in comparison to where it was previously, the ISM. But the idea is, well, the correlation would say mid to late 2026 for a potential extended cycle with a top sometime in mid 2026. That would be a super extended cycle. And I mean, maybe that is part of the maturity of Bitcoin. Longer cycles, a coin that, acting in similar terms to gold, to where it just, maybe there's not the crazy volatility to it, but it consistently goes up and up and up and up. I don't know if we're there yet with Bitcoin. Certainly, there is the ETF and the institutional money involved, and the volatility is going to go down just as a byproduct of where we're at. But I did want to show that as maybe a prelude to the idea that we could be looking at an extended cycle. It's always possible. Nobody knows for sure. I just think a lot of people are starting to go with that thesis, mainly because, again, if you asked me or anyone 6 months ago, where's Bitcoin in October, especially after a rate cut, with potentially two more rate cuts and the market kind of factoring in two more 0.25 basis point cuts, the idea is, well, it'd be a little bit higher than 122K, even though the Septembers are normally bad. This was a lot more bullish of a time period, but the September was not as good. The October has definitely picked up a little bit. But I think people were expecting Bitcoin to be in a little bit of a different position if you're talking about a cycle tap based on the exact timing of a 4-year cycle in mid-October, which would say, well, it shouldn't be at 122K. The hope would be it would be at 140, 150K, unless the cycle tap is a lot lower than many people anticipate. I have seen some people flooding say, well, the cycle top is 130, 140K. I tend to not believe that. I mean, there's no way to truly predict when the cycle top is going to be. There's going to be the law of depreciating value in terms of the total X's from the bottom, which I think, what was the bottom of this cycle back in probably summer 2022, when it was around 12 or 13K Bitcoin to whatever it goes to, whatever X that is, 12K to 150K. There is going to be a law of diminishing return in terms of the percent gain versus the previous cycle and the cycle before that because of the ridiculously higher market cap. This is what we really need to be looking at. Look, whatever Bitcoin does, it's going to do. The hope is that eventually, I mean, we might still see a crazy ascension in October, in November. I mean, it is a very bullish time, we would figure, in crypto if you do believe in the 4-year cycle. And if you believe in the impact of rate cuts, even if they are just the minimal 2.5 or 0.25 cuts, also the economy being at an all-time high, potentially more disposable income, maybe a Trump stimulus check because of the tariffs. I mean, there's a lot of things to look at, but I mean, let's just factor this in, and people need to understand. I mean, you're taking a look at the overall total market cap of meme coins on CMC within the past year. I mean, about a year ago, or I guess a little bit less than a year ago, about 10 months ago, it was double what it is now. It was at around $140 billion. Right now, it's at 72 billion. So that just goes to show you, while right now Bitcoin is reaching new all-time highs, and you compare that to many of these alts, even the higher cap meme alts on Ethereum not doing anything, and a lot of the higher cap alts on Solana getting battered as well, and they haven't done anything for a few months. What we're seeing is a lot of the memes being suppressed right now. There's not a ton of money flow, and really there's been a stabilization within the meme coin sector, at least when you look at the total market cap of meme coins. Like back in February, remember back in January, it was such a bearish time because Trump launched the coin, sucked all the liquidity out of the market. It went cascading down to around 72, 73K. That's where, or 72, 73 billion. That's where we're at right now. 72, 73 billion. And so the idea is, well, obviously this cannot be, if this is the cycle top for the total market cap of meme coins, that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. That's a debilitating problem that cannot happen. I mean, you've got people predicting Pepe itself to $100 billion. I'm not saying Pepe is going to do that. And I wouldn't buy Pepe because it's too high of a market cap, but I'm just saying there's a lot of predictions going around where you see people predicting certain meme coins. I mean, Dogecoin to $1. What would that be in terms of overall market cap? There is right now, we have not seen the flow, the money flow, and just look at Ethereum. Ethereum can't even get to $5,000 right now. There is no flow into the Ethereum meme sector and just the meme coin sector in general. Just because Bitcoin is reaching new all-time highs, it's going to take time. So I think that's the point. Now, in terms of, we'll see what happens with the price action of Bitcoin within the next few weeks. But if you do believe in the 4-year cycle, the timing of it is mid-October. You could say, well, it's early, mid, late October, early November. You have some wiggle room in terms of the exact timing of when the cycle. But at a certain point, like once you get towards the end of Q4, or I guess the end of 2025, that is the timing. That is the timing passed on the 4-year cycle. And supposedly the Bitcoin high would have already happened, but you don't know. I mean, the 4-year cycle could be completely invalidated with all of the real world variables involved in cryptocurrency now, with the ETFs, with the mass adoption. And so all of that going on, it's going to change the way in which the volume and money move into cryptocurrency. So the point is, like a year ago, it's more, well, I guess not a year ago exactly. A year ago it was at 50 billion, the total market cap. Now it's at 72. But the point is, this should not even come close to the meme coin cycle top in terms of total market cap. If this is, it's crushing. So we should zoom way past this. Now, I don't know, you want to predict $1 trillion, you want to predict 1.5 trillion in total market cap for memes. I mean, that would be insane, or at least 500 billion, which would be from its high right now, about a 3.5x. You want to predict the total crypto in general reaching 12 or 13 trillion, maybe 10 trillion. Like, you look at some of these indicators, we could just see where we're at right now. We're still hovering just above $4 trillion. and it did recently reach a new high. That's because Bitcoin reached a new high. Bitcoin dominance is still above 50%. So if Bitcoin keeps reaching new highs, there's going to be a lot of money added to the total market cap because Bitcoin is so dominant in cryptocurrency. Fear and greed is irrelevant until we see some of these other things like more an influx of money being added to the meme coin space. And then at a certain point, once we start seeing a lot of these meme coins go, if your coin is not going to the rate at which you want it, there will have to be a decision that's made. But the point is, right now, there's really no money. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's no money. Obviously, it's a very bullish time, so a coin can run at any point. But it's just not the timing for the memes, and this is very normal. Now, what's not necessarily normal, or maybe it's not perfect, would be what Bitcoin is doing. And the thought is that, well, Bitcoin's going to be further along. Is it only going to reach 130 by mid-October or mid-November? Is that its cycle top? Or is it going to go to 150, 160, 170? Even if it only goes to 130, 140, there will be, we would hope, an influx of money flow. But I mean, the idea is there has to be a euphoric stage of Bitcoin, which I don't know if that's 140, 150, 160, but it's not 122. All right, because the idea is we're adding about 7 or 8,000, in a few days to Bitcoin's price, which is hundreds of billions of dollars, or in terms of market cap added to Bitcoin within days. That's the euphoric stage of Bitcoin, and that hopefully creates the money and the money flow onto Ethereum. And I mean, we did see Ethereum run a little bit back in late August, early September, I believe, but we're just we're not seeing like this total market cap going up. Just to put this into context, I mean, the idea is, and like look at the dominance compared to where it was back in December. December, there was a higher total meme coin market cap, and overall the crypto market cap was at 3.7 trillion. Now it's at 4.16 trillion. There's a lower overall meme coin market cap price than there was back in December. So the dominance obviously is significantly lower for meme coins right now than it was last December. So you have to understand, even last December, it was a more bullish time for meme coins than it is right now. It's really, this is just the fundamentals of what's going on. The thought is that, well, whenever the high happens, whether, there has to be a euphoric stage. I mean, especially with how mainstream Bitcoin is, it doesn't make sense for there not to be. Or we'll see this fundamental token or a coin or asset mature to the point to where it acts more so similar to gold. Because once it reaches a certain market cap, the volatility goes down and down and down, and it does start getting treated by people that are older as a stored value asset that goes up on average. I still think Bitcoin would be a better investment, obviously, than gold. Just look at the market cap comparison and look at Bitcoin's narrative versus gold. I mean, it's the digital version, and it's worth, 1/13 of the price, or if it's at 2.5 trillion or 2.2 trillion dollars versus gold at 26 trillion, it's just better investment. So I think the point is, listen, the numbers say that we're not close yet. The dominance, I think, is going to go up, honestly, for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance should go up as long as Bitcoin reaches a euphoric stage. It has to. I mean, if it does, I mean, there's too much money in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes to 160, 170K, the amount of money added to crypto is insane because of Bitcoin's total worth and already its market cap as is. So I think we're probably going to see it wick back up to around 62, 63. I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is just the thesis. If Bitcoin does go to at least 160 or 170 or somewhere around that range. So that's what I would say. But either way, guys, that's just the updates. I don't know if we can see the CMC top 20 down 2%. Really an interesting, the way they weight this. I mean, this is like an interesting index, honestly. This could be a better index to buy than, something like the S&P. If you could deal with volatility, just because, like, I wonder CMC top 100, CMC top 20. So they started tracking this in 2024, start of 2024, 93 to 265. 93 to 265, 2.5x. CMC 100, 99 to 253. Wow. The top 100 was outperformed by the top 20, which surprises me. But that's also, to be honest, this is actually bullish for the 100, for the CMC 100, because the 100 will include a lot of memes that will run later on in the cycle. The 20 is just the normie alts. which are already performing. I mean, BNB just hit a new all-time high. So, I mean, we'll have to see. But either way, guys, this is not financial advice. Please like the video down below. Thank you for watching.